All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Super League TV. I'm your host, Dale Taylor. Joined with me tonight is Braden Venning and Neil Weideman.
Noodle.
For our elite section of the competition. We're going to get straight into it, and the first game was the Pakenham Pirates versus the Narre Warren Silverbacks, and the Narre Warren Silverbacks looked like they got up 80-52. Braden, you were here. What did you see?
Yeah, they flexed their muscle. Pakenham, like the addition of Tilly, who is, again, one of the most handsome guys coming into this league. He is a rig. Beautiful arms on him.
He's bulked up from last season.
Mate, oil painting. He's a beautiful man.
He is a beautiful man.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the addition of
How about the game, though?
Other than his looks, he's got himself a 3-point shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He
All
was
right.
he scored the first couple points and was looking really good. I think he hit, two or three or two
Yeah,
or
it looks
four?
like he went 2 out of 4 from deep.
Yeah, and they were nice shots, like real clean.
Yeah.
As soon as he got the isolations in the post, it's game over. He's got a really good spin. Paul did his best to hold him, but he's going to get away every now and again.
Yeah, well, it looks like he did. He had 21 points and 10 rebounds, and he was the only Pirate to score in double digits. So it looks like the Pirates had a pretty quiet night. On the other side, we had Paul with 16 and 10. We had Jacko and Logan going for 16 and 7. A couple of good young guys in that team.
Yeah, definitely, and they definitely picked up the slack with Jeff having a quiet game. Although Tilly was big, looks like the Pirates really didn't step up and weren't consistent enough across the board. Yeah,
I see that. I mean, the biggest lead was out to 32 points, so it sort of looked like it got ugly before they roped it back just a little bit.
Oh, Pirates had a run late, and that just made it look a little bit more respectable. But they were blown out of the water. They were horrible.
So where do the Pirates go from here? Do they look to trade to improve, or do you reckon that's just a bad game? What do you think, Ned?
I think they're one of the best teams. I think they're probably our biggest competition.
That's a big call.
But after watching Sunday's game, they don't look like much chop. So I think we've got it hands down.
Yeah, okay.
Pacers?
Yeah, Pacers.
Get out. You're dreaming, mate.
We had a team not even turn up. They were that scared of us.
I think that's more about the franchise there than the actual opponent.
Yeah, and their GM leader.
Yeah.
So we could be talking maybe some growing pains, with the introduction of Tilly, people getting used to playing alongside him and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe look for a better performance next week. Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think they relied on Tilly a lot early, and it's sort of what was making them successful early was all 5 players on the court were having an impact, but they just stood and watched Tilly a little bit more on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next game. The next game was the Officer Hornets getting steamrolled by the Druin Dragons.
You can't do me
67
like that.
to 87.
Can't do me like that.
This is interesting because Braden, really shot his mouth off last week, and it's come back to bite him because the Dragons have really pumped him here.
Yeah, well,
did I shoot my mouth off? I shot my mouth off about you. I also said my team doesn't play two-way ball. And again, we allowed a team to score 87 points. Proof's in the pudding.
So did you come into the game with a strategy at all or any sort of defensive plan?
Oh, we don't talk about defense. Our goal is to score more points than the other team. I think it's basketball 101. You score more than them, you win.
You don't really have the talent to do that, though. You've got 3 players and 5 kids that stand and watch.
Hey. Aaron Davidson went 0-7. So that's a quiet one.
Therein lies your problem.
Well, Braden, it looked like Nola had a quiet game, maybe his first of the season. He's been shooting the lights out all season. Had a bit of a quieter game last night. What was last Sunday?
That was poor.
Negative 26 plus minus.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I didn't even. That's the worst on the team.
Yeah.
I think Noah needs to play more. He had a +4.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, because he's the only guy who plays D.
Yeah, he's always
that
good on
makes
defense.
Sense.
You had Lewis also putting in a Lewis type performance.
Yeah.
What did he have? He had
18 and 8.
Yeah, 18 and 8. That's relatively standard for him.
Yeah. Great numbers, but they're not really conducive to success.
No,
with your
they're cheap numbers.
They're empty. A few missed dunks in there, I assume.
What I really appreciated was big Cal McNiff.
Yeah, so
double.
Yeah, he had a big game, 15 points and 13 boards.
Yeah.
That's massive.
That's a guard.
For Cal, and that's got to be promising for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, that's a guard who's 15 years old?
Yeah.
Pulling down like that many boards in a Super League game.
Yeah.
It's pretty huge.
And with Matt Burkick on the floor too, that shouldn't be going unnoticed.
Yeah, and Dylan Jenkinson obviously chipping in a good one himself. For the Dragons, it was all Aaron Miles early, I heard.
Yeah, it was all Aaron Miles late.
Oh, Aaron Miles late.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was atrocious early. Like atrocious, like just straight up bad.
Okay.
Like embarrassing to be on the court. And then you saw, last couple of minutes, let's get some cheap buckets, extend the lead.
Well, he's finished up with 16 points. He's put in a pretty reasonable game.
On 17 shots, mind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hit, I think it was 4 straight threes to finish the game.
Yeah, okay. So he caught fire.
So it was pretty handy. Like, it really pushed the lead out. It was unreachable for us in the end.
Yeah. And Josh Norton, double-double, 17 points, 11 boards. Did you catch any of that game?
No, I'd gone home by this point. But yeah, Josh Norton, really long, excellent defender. Guarded me pretty well a couple of weeks back, and I think he's a big part of their team.
Yeah. Yeah, and Burko obviously putting in a pretty decent game as he does most weeks.
Even had a dunk.
Yeah, he hit 5 of 11 from deep though. And that was Lewis defending him, just going under every time, going, go on, shoot it.
Do those guys ever play inside?
No.
Rarely.
Okay.
The only time they go in is if they can try and get a dunk, but Lewis just misses them. Burko,
He's been making a few recently.
yeah, he's still a softie though.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that wraps that game up. And the last game on tonight's sheet is the Lakeside Vikings beating the Berwick Sharks 68-54. You saw the game, Braden. What did you take away from that?
That was not the result I saw coming into it. There was some big trades going through the league.
Yeah, so
trades.
the Sharks have they've added 3 people to their roster over the last week. One through a injury replacement, and the other 2 through trade. So they've picked up Harris Wasilko, who's a solid,
Very handy pickup.
solid body inside, and they've also picked up Aiden Jenkinson and Macca Holland. So
Yeah.
pretty decent sort of players to be bringing in, only not to come up with the goods on Sunday.
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, early on, they were looking the goods.
Yeah.
They were up and about. They were passing the ball, hitting guys for layups. It was really good. There was guys playing D. Like, that doesn't happen in this league often, but there were guys hustling back on D. And they were looking really good, but it all fell apart for them.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can see that the biggest lead was 29 points at one point, so it got pretty ugly. And they've obviously brought it back to just 14 points to finish the game off.
And that was a run late that brought him back.
Yeah.
Is that because Lakeside stopped playing a little bit? Yeah. But Berwick still had to put it in.
Yeah, fair enough. I see Aussie Shelley chipped in 19 points. Was that his first game back?
First game, debut.
Yeah. So he's coming back off a foot injury and hasn't slowed him down at all. He's put in 19 points and had a really good game.
Yeah, he was cooking them.
Yeah.
Like, really nice game. Very solid contributor to that team.
I think but looking at the stat sheet, I think everyone else sort of chipped in fairly evenly. Pretty well-rounded team game.
Yeah. Dill Larkin had another consistent game with what do you have, 16 and 7. So again, pretty consistent.
He's going to be right there in the MVP race, surely.
He'd have to be leading at the moment.
Yeah. Do you think the Vikings are a dangerous team coming into finals?
Yeah, absolutely. They're the only team that's beaten us so far, and they've probably got the most talented player in Dill. When you've got that, there's not, if he's going off, there's not much you can do with him. Yeah. And now that Aussie's chipping in, if he can keep shooting the ball like that, I think they'll be very dangerous. I noticed Brad Zarlek didn't play, so to have a big win like that without one of I think it was his second round pick. That's pretty impressive.
It was, yeah. But Greg Wise stepped in and had himself a quiet game. All right, well, you have 6, 4, and 2. It's not too bad.
Solid.
All right, that's a late pick, doing some damage.
And it seems Mike picked up some really good players late in the draft too.
Very.
In Baz as well. Baz is serviceable.
Got Baz, yeah.
Serviceable big guy, and another couple of good guys in Aussie. And
well, Matty Thielen, he's been doing some good things. He had 8 and 4.
Yep.
Right, not too bad. Right, and that was another late pick. So he's found all those gems late in the draft, a lot like Noodle has.
Yeah.
Picking up guys late who are just going to come in and contribute straight away.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a pretty deep team, and I reckon they're someone to watch come finals time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the games for the week. I wanted to finish off just with a couple of questions for the both of you guys.
Bring it on.
So we'll start with this. Apart from your own teams, who's the team to beat in this competition?
The team that absolutely tore us apart, and I hate to say it, and I really, really hate it because he's sitting across me and he's just a big dumb jerk. But Noodle's paces.
Okay. And
they're quality.
Yeah. And why? They're
They're very, very even. Like all their guys will put in. They can all chip in for boards. Everyone can score. Like they can be dangerous. Like if one guy's having a down game, anyone else can step up.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Noodle?
I think the Mustangs could be dangerous. James Langford could find some loopholes pretty soon. Get some NBA players in somehow.
Well, he's already made one trade and he's picked up Banger and Jono. How do you think that affects his team moving forward?
That doesn't really help. I think if they can get some superstar potential in, somehow he flipped. I think he flipped Rob Roberts for Hayden Davey last year. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get a deal like that. But other than the Mustangs, I think the Pirates, they're very well balanced, and I think they've got a lot of top end talent with Tilly. So if they can work it out, I think they'll be dangerous too. Because we don't really have any size. We've got, we're pretty flat.
You've got to run the ball to have success.
So Tilly's going to cause a few problems for us.
Yeah. Okay. Now, being that we've got a new Wasilko in the league in Harris, who's the better Wasilko brother?
Well, that's a question. Harris is the quieter one, but I've been drinking with Casey. And old mate Silky, he's a load of fun.
So he's the better bloke?
I think you could say that.
What about the better player?
Better player? I think. Well, I'd say Casey is the more skilled player, but I think Harris can have the most impact.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Ned?
I've only played them both once, but I think from memory, Harris was an absolute handful on the block and really tough to guard. Whereas Casey was a little bit more perimeter oriented, drive and kick and that type of thing. So I'd say Harris. Yeah,
I think I got Harris too. Like Harris seems to be really aggressive on the drive, and I've played many games against Harris, and he's just so aggressive. He absorbs contact and finishes around the bucket really well.
He'll happily bang bodies.
Yeah,
like he seems like a real jerk on the court. Because he'll hit you, he'll annoy you. You get him off the court, nicest bloke you could ever speak to.
Yeah, apart from Casey.
Oh yeah, well Casey just loves to smash some beers, and I'm about that. I'm about that life.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Final question. MVP predictions for this league. Who have you got?
Tilly Larks. I think that he's going to run away with it.
A shoe in?
Oh, safe as houses.
Okay. What about you, Ned?
I'd say the only person that can probably compete with him is Bailey Beck. He's been magnificent so far, and as Braden highlighted last week, he's got the most beautiful eyes in the whole
I think
season.
that comes into it when votes come in.
Yeah,
you want to vote for a guy who looks pretty.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think the top two would definitely be Will We Dill, closely followed by Bailey. He's had a massive impact on our franchise.
Hot question: who's got more beautiful eyes, Bailey Beck or Dill Larkin?
Can't say I've looked Dill Larkin in the eyes too much.
Yeah.
Mind you, next time we play him, I'll get
a good look.
I'll get a bit intimate with him.
Yeah, get really close. Like I want nose to nose. Really, really evaluate those eyes, and then get back to us.
All right, we'll follow that up maybe in the future episodes. But for now, I think that wraps things up for the elite side of things. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to go to a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Boom, boom, finger bang.
Lonsdale Street Auto Electrics, proud sponsor of the Southeast Super League domestic competition. Located at 15 Park Drive in Dandenong, Marty Sanchez and the boys will be able to take care of all your auto electric needs. They have a wide range of services and systems on offer, including GPS tracking for your car, CCTV security systems, and more importantly, with summer just around the corner, they'll be able to sort out your car's air conditioning and get your car nice and cool in time for summer. So go down and see Lonsdale Street Auto Electrics, 15 Park Drive, Dandenong, proud sponsor of the Southeast Super League domestic competition.
All right, guys, and we're back, and I've got a couple of new guests now. I've got Steph Pal from the Silverbacks joining us for the first time, and I've got Shann from the Koalas joining us again. Another solid round of basketball, I guess. First game off the rank, I suppose, was the Bears and the Tornadoes. The Bears getting up. What was the total score?
Getting up by quite a bit.
Getting up by
32.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a bit of a blowout. you saw the game. How did you think it went?
Yeah, I think the Tornadoes lacked in size. They were missing Claire and Beck, which are their 2 tallest players of the round, so that kind of sucks against a tall Bears suit. Clearly destroyed the Tornadoes, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seemed like the Bears had all the answers,
They did.
and you know, DJ and Tanea Phillips sort of had a bit of a night out on them.
Yep. Yeah, Tanea's an awesome player. So 17 points and 9 rebounds. That's like a big game. So
Yeah, I mean, she has all the moves. She's got the crossovers. She's got the fadeaway. She's got just about everything. It's really going to be hard to stop. Come later on in the year,
Play
even
to
finals
watch.
time. Yeah, absolutely, and probably someone to consider for the MVP as well, I guess. Jill had a fairly decent game tonight.
But somebody who said, I'm just going to GM, pick my team and then not play, and then to come up with 16 points, should have been earlier in the draft, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think she might have
Round
hustled us a
5,
little bit.
16 points.
Putting up 16 points is a pretty decent effort, and
Taking advantage of the little ones on the Tornadoes, I think.
yeah, okay, making her money on the post.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ had 11 points and probably a handful of assists and steals as well.
Yeah, definitely.
For the Tornadoes, we had Tasman 9 points and 7 rebounds. That was pretty much the only real standout on the night, I guess.
yeah, I think they really missed Claire and Beck.
Yeah,
Tonight, definitely.
do the heavy lifting in the rebound department
Yeah.
and the rest. Where do you think they go moving forward?
I reckon that'd be pretty good. We only beat them by 2 points. So when they have a big team, I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
And they've got their whole team.
Do you think they can maybe utilise the fast break a bit more to get some easy buckets, or is that something that they can look at doing?
Honestly, I think they need to trade. I think they need to start thinking about the trade table.
Yeah, okay.
Be the first to make a move.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen a trade yet
No, we
in
haven't.
Super League Women's, and
No one's willing to.
there's been a few trades in both the
Yes.
domestic and the elite comp, so it'd
Yep.
be nice to see a couple of trades, a couple of players shift teams.
I definitely think the Tornadoes should look closely for a trade
Yeah,
sooner rather than later, just to help them out when players like Beck and Claire can't make it because they are new mums and there's going to be things that come up. So they've got to consider their options and if they're here to compete or if they're just here to get up and down the court.
yeah, that's fair enough. Moving on to our second game, so we had a much closer game in
Much
the second
closer.
game. We had the
Yeah.
Silverbacks defeating the Hornets 40-34. Did you have a strategy coming into the game?
Not really. I've been trying to get my team to run and push the ball, but it hasn't really worked when Sam Neill has 9 steals. So it doesn't help either when we've literally passed her the ball probably 8 times, including myself, just passing in from the baseline straight to her. Yeah, but they definitely put in a tough fight for us. So, but luckily we pulled it out in the end.
Yeah, well, things seemed a little hairier. I thought the Hornets were up at one stage. They got up by a couple of points.
This must have been 2.
It was 5, but who's counting?
But it sort of looked like they had most of the momentum and they might have run away with the game, but you
Yeah.
guys just managed to flick the switch.
Yeah,
And
I feel like we played pretty flat, and I feel like we didn't really play that good. But in the end, thank goodness we did.
And how did you play?
Well, Shannon says I still played all right, even though I played not good.
Well, your stat line shows 13 points and 13 rebounds, so monster effort on the glass.
Should have had about 40 points because I missed 500 of them.
I noticed that we haven't got written down any assists. Did you have any assists in the game? Did you pass the ball?
I had 1.
Doesn't pass. Trigger.
No, that just
Catch
means
shoot.
pass on the other end. No, they just didn't score, so it's not my fault.
We have heard from numerous people on your team that you're a bit of a black hole.
Probably, that's probably right.
The other decent performance tonight was Bridget Deary. She had 16 points and 12 rebounds. Really solid performance from her.
Yeah, very solid. Thank goodness she could shoot because I couldn't, so it was good.
And have you guys? When do you guys play each other?
I think we're playing next week, I believe.
That's going to be a hell of a game to watch.
If they turn up.
Yeah, if we have enough players.
Okay.
Watch this space, koalas,
Yeah.
for the win.
Yeah. Okay.
With 4 players again, but we're going to win. We have a full team, so it's all right.
So this might seem like a silly question, but apart from your own team, who is the team to beat, in your opinion?
There's no other teams left apart from koalas. No, that was harsh. Maybe I would say probably the Silverbacks with a full team.
Yep.
Without a full team, I don't think that they've got what it takes. But when they've got all 7 players on the court, I think they could definitely be one to upset.
Yeah. What about you, Pal?
Yep. Koalas as well.
Yeah.
The koalas, yeah. 3 big players. Shannon knuckle down defense, Keelia threes, and Ali just is all around everything. So that'd be a good team to beat as well.
So that the Bears don't get a look in here. I actually looking at the Bears team, I reckon they've got probably one of the most talented teams going around. I mean, they got Tomo who can knock down the 3. They got Tanea who can bring the ball up and do a number of things, and DJ.
They've played 2 games.
Yeah. And Jill's going to knock down 16 points a game. So
yeah, well, if you have a scoreline like that where you've got 4 players in double figures, of course they're looking threatening. But again, they've only played 2 games, so pretty early to nominate them as a team that's going to be up there.
Yeah, okay.
They're still middle of the road until they, big scorelines, but they've got to be consistent.
Yeah, fair enough. What do we got for MVP predictions?
Keely.
You got Keely? She's your MVP?
Yep.
Okay.
21 points every game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's been consistent, 18 to 20 points a game, and rebounding well in a couple of games after you've sort of prodded her to grab some.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Who have you got for MVP?
I don't know. It pains me to say, but I think Steph will be up there because she's got all-around stats from points to assists.
Oh, not assists.
Until tonight. She's up there still. Steals, blocks, 6 blocks in one game. That's a big stat line.
If I couldn't shoot
but I
more
also
than 30%, you could start.
Yeah, I also think, obviously, Tanea is a massive favourite.
Yeah, she's got to be up there, yeah.
Current ex-WNBL player, you would assume that she would just be able to tear people up in a competition like this. And she's proven so far in the 2 games that she's played that
If
she's
she plays the
definitely
rest of the
capable
games.
of it. Yeah.
Do you think that
100%.
maybe her and DJ maybe steal votes off each other a little bit? Because I mean,
Yeah,
they're both pretty solid performers.
I think so. They're different performers though.
Yeah, that's right. They're very different
so-
players, but
It depends, I suppose, who tears up who and when.
yeah,
It's a matter of who has a great game as opposed to who has a good game.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be fighting for 3 and 2 each week. It's just it'll be who threads the needle at the last end.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, that pretty much wraps things up, I think, for the women's section of the broadcast. Thanks for joining us, girls.
No worries.
We're going to go to another quick break, and we'll be back with the domestic league after this.
Horne Industrial Coatings, official naming sponsor of the Southeast Super League. A family-run business with over 15 years' experience, Horne Industrial Coatings specialise in a range of epoxy flooring solutions for both commercial and industrial applications. There's no job too big or too small for Horne Industrial Coatings. If you've got a project at home that needs a flooring solution, reach out to Dean for some expert help with your flooring needs. Be it a workshop at home, a basketball court out in the backyard that needs surfacing, Horne Industrial Coatings have got your floor covered. For more information about Dean's wide range of flooring solutions, visit horneindustrialcoatings.com.au. Proud naming sponsor of the Southeast Super League.
Okay, guys, and we're back. I am now joined with Ian Mortimer from the Bunyip Wizards. Oh, thanks, mate. And our naming rights sponsor, Dean Horne from Horne Industrial Coatings and the Emerald Bears.
How you going, guys?
Thanks for joining us, guys.
No worries.
What we noticed on Tuesday was a couple of absolutely ripping games of basketball and a couple of blowouts.
Yes.
Some really good stuff. So let's jump into the first game.
Yep.
First game, we had the Tynong Tornadoes getting their first win of the season against the Narnagoon Bulldogs.
In a thriller.
40 to 39.
Yep.
You were here for the game.
An absolute thriller. Yep.
Walk us through it.
Oh, what can you say? The guy so Joel at the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably the best game of the year, I think.
Mate, yeah.
We hyped it up a bit on Facebook. There was a bit of smack talk between both teams before the game.
Pretty scrappy at the start, though.
Yeah, I mean, the first half scores resembled something from an under 8s or under 10s game. It was something like 10 to 12 at half time. In the second half, they really picked up the pace and got things moving, obviously getting to 40 to 39 at the end. Newly traded Stewie Burridge.
Hits that three.
He absolutely hit a dagger with scores tied to put them up by 3 points, only to have Joel Donnelly come down. So there was a timeout called.
Yep.
Everyone knew the ball was going to ISO Joel. And
Although Alex asked him, is the ball going to you, Joel's like, no, not going to me.
So Joel gets the ball, launches a three, gets fouled, nails the three and the foul shot to put them up by 1.
Yes.
And ultimately win the game with a couple of seconds left.
Yep.
It was an absolute thriller. It was probably one of the best games.
It was all Alex's fault.
You could probably, if you wanted to blame someone, maybe.
It's all right. I like Alex. He likes me. So.
We like Alex, yes, but you've just scolded him on the broadcast.
Apologies.
So, no, I mean,
But also on another note, Joel with 4 assists too. Got a shout out to him on that.
yeah, sharing the ball around
Sharing
well,
the ball,
Joel,
Joel.
and finished with a game high 15 points, which was pretty decent as well.
Yeah, sounds like he shot a lot better this week.
Yeah, he had 4 threes, I think, for the game, which was crucial in getting their win. Coop and Alex, they
23
finished.
between.
They had 23 points between them.
Hollywood Blondes.
The league's 2 sexiest men
They are very
finished with 23 points. So they combined and did some damage really.
Shout out to Corey though as well. Corey Brumby 9 and 12.
He boarded really well,
He's a
as
gen-
did Carl. Carl in the first half was absolutely
They're both genuine workhorses. They are. They're just.
yeah.
They work so hard for them.
And that was an interesting duel between those two because we actually had a little wager that Corey would score more than Carl, and I believe we were in trouble for a bit, but Corey came through with a couple of M1s and
Beautiful.
nice finishes towards the end there, and he earned me a 4-pack.
Yeah. You on the long blacks?
Yeah, it's definitely long blacks. Carl, you heard it here. I want long blacks. Thank you. Will Cole, 8 points, 6 boards. He had a couple of threes and looked pretty threatening. I think there's some positive signs for the Tornadoes moving forward. I mean, they've made a couple of trades, brought in a couple of new faces, and they've got a kind of long and big team. I think they can do some damage.
Yeah, definitely.
And I suppose for the Bulldogs, another close game that they've just sort of come up short.
Yeah, I thought they'd be getting up a bit more this season.
Well, you'd think they'd be at least on 3 wins with with what they've done so far. They've played some terrific basketball. They just come up short. Well, better luck next week for those guys, and I'm sure they'll get one before the end of the season. Next game on the list, we have the Maryknoll Matadors just defeating your Bears,
Sore point, yeah.
47 to 45.
We were up most of the game. It was close the whole game, but
Yeah, so just walk us through what happened in the game. How did you see it?
I mean, our game plan was to try shut down the shooters, obviously. Leon. Hayden stepped up massively, not really from beyond the arc, but just took it in and dominated that way.
He was looking really dangerous. Have you had a chance to play against H yet?
No, not yet.
When do you guys face them? It must be coming up soon.
Second last
I think
round.
we're going
Yeah,
to
okay.
next week. So.
Yeah, you got the Bears next week, and then
Yeah. He's
Matadors
certainly
second
someone to really focus on defensively because, I mean, he's tearing teams apart.
Mate, yeah, draft steal, and I reckon close MVP.
He'd have to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His,
for
his
sure.
watched a little bit of him, and his takeoff speed is phenomenal. He just grabs that ball and just goes and doesn't look back. And most of the time, he uses it really well. So
Yeah.
Be nice to be young again, though.
would be, wouldn't it?
And tell me about Flanners in this game because he seemed kind of worked up. Was that Leon's doing? Because Leon was out to fire him up, I think, a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, yeah, there was a bit of back and forth with with both of us as well,
Yeah.
and Flanners, but it was just,
So all obviously good mates off the court and play Thursday
Thursday
nights
night together,
Yeah. So was it sort of like desperation? You really wanted to win that one.
he did. Well, of course, we really
Bragging
wanted to win.
rights.
We want to win every game, but definitely against Leon.
Yeah.
This didn't happen.
Flanners finished with 14 and 8,
Yeah.
which
Three
was
threes, I think it
your
was.
your team high and led the team in rebounding as well.
Yeah,
He had a
he's
cracking game,
monster.
and He was really electric on the fast break, which is sort of what we expected to see from Flanners just about in every game. But last night he particularly looked like himself and was really aggressive going to the bucket, and it was good to see.
Yep. Yeah, he's just Flanners doing Flanners.
Yeah.
That's what he does though. He takes the ball off the inbound, and then the defense is running back to try and get
he's
in
there
position,
already.
and he's already there. He's just pushed.
That's why I don't play
just
much
go.
offense.
Yeah,
There's just no point.
That's what I did last year. And just let him go. Try not to catch
He's a hard man to stop. Yeah, definitely. And your role players actually had a pretty decent game. You had like Riddle and Poles chipping in a couple of points here and there,
Yeah,
and they
Steve
actually
was really, taking it in. He was really good.
when they're aggressive, there's no limit to what you guys can do.
Yes, just ball movement probably a bit more.
Yeah. And I think actually Schmutter nearly led your team in rebounding. He was probably the smallest kid on your team, just about.
Yeah.
He had 5 points and 7 boards, but he had a pretty impressive game defensively and obviously rebounding the ball as well.
He thought he was going to light it up from the start, but
Yeah.
got that
Didn't
first
have
big
it.
three.
Yeah, he
deep,
did
and
too,
then-
didn't he? Yeah, he had a
I
massive
think
three.
the next one was an air ball, maybe.
Yeah, that's a bit humbling when that happens, isn't it? All right, moving on. We've got the next game was the Cardinia Crocs blowing out your Wizards,
Yes.
52-38.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just didn't turn up to play. That was all. They smashed us in the first 8 minutes. I think they scored about 23 points or something like that, and we didn't really have an answer to that. And
So just got off to a quick start,
to
you
the quick
think,
start,
and
basically what we did to the Tornadoes the week before. Just got off to that quick start and we just couldn't fire back. I think we got back within 8 at one point, but their shots were falling and ours we couldn't buy a bucket that night. So.
it seemed like the week before when you played the Tornadoes, you guys you were banging bodies and really sort of forcing the issue inside. Looking at the stat sheet, you had Mitch Ryle and Aaron Wilson having a fairly quiet night by their standards.
Yeah, definitely.
Aaron Wilson, I think, finished with 9
10.
points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
Compared to the week before, he had something like 22 and
he can,
17 or something like that.
9 and 10, like that, easily doubled. For
Yeah.
Aaron. Aaron's just a genuine star, and that's a very quiet night. We all had off nights, but what can I say? The Crocs were probably the better team on the night.
Yeah,
Shot the ball better, and they bodied us just like we bodied the Tornadoes the week before. So
yeah. Well, it was Wyatt's return, so he missed the week before, and they had a really good game against us, the Reapers. Knocking us off by a point, but that was without Wyatt. Now he's come back, and he really sort of hasn't sort of hindered things at all. He's
Just keep going.
he's just moving along. He's finished with 7 points and 14
I didn't see
rebounds.
much of the game.
but-
I was outside cooling off.
well, they
but it would have been a good matchup between those two.
yeah.
Aaron and Wyatt, so.
Well,
I mean, you're gonna find it hard pressed to find someone to out rebound Aaron, and basically White took it to him all night. I think he had 14, White had 14, and Aaron had 10. It was a good duel to watch. To be honest.
The Crocs seem to sort of get it done week in, week out as a whole team.
Yeah.
They don't really have like a star standout so much. Wyatt's always putting up sort of double doubles, but they don't really have that go-to scorer. They seem to always get it done as a team.
Yep.
Like you've always got your Mitch Thomases, your Riley Lantings, your Curtis Wheelers. They're sort of all chipping in a little bit here and there, and they get the job done as a team. I reckon they're going to be a team to watch come finals time.
Definitely.
I reckon that so they're going to be challenging for that 4th spot, I think.
Yep.
So your Wizards still seem like one of the strongest teams on paper. I think
Yeah.
you're just a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, I think it's just taken a little bit of time to gel together and just to get to know everyone's game. I mean, it's hard to come into a competition when you don't know everyone. And I think Andy and Dill were the only ones that played last year out of the team.
Yeah.
And all different teams. So it was it's still coming together. We're still gelling, but we know we can turn it on.
Well, it certainly makes a lot of sense that, I mean, Andy Miller opted not to make any trades for the season, and it probably makes a lot of sense in that you guys have one of the best teams on paper, but the team isn't performing as such. So I just wonder where you guys go to now to scrape together a couple of wins moving forward. I mean, if you played like you did last week and you're really physical playing that sort of...
I think that's where it is, where we get a bit rough,
get
a bit angry, and, you've got Trent, he's large, and he can just get in there and, once his knee's a bit right and throw his weight around as well. So.
He had a good game last night. I mean, he was the only wizard that scored in double digits, and he looked really, really aggressive there.
He took it to him. He took it to him and went inside and, got his own rebounds, got the defensive rebounds, and he played really well coming off a bung knee, so it's quite good.
It seems like a theme with the Wizards, bung knees.
Yeah, well, at least he didn't shoot himself. So.
All right, moving on. We've got the Bayside Reapers getting the win against the Kui Koalas. Game...
By 12.
By 12.
Felt like a lot more.
Well, it was. So I think we had the lead out to about 25 at one point.
Yep.
It sort of felt like everyone had put the guns back in the rack and we were happy to just sort of coast to the end and just get up and down. But then the Koalas just sort of clawed their way back bit by bit, and before you know it, it's a 12-point game. And, I mean, from my point of view, I think we did really well defensively to stop Kiwi Chem and Robes from really bullying us. And
it almost turned into a rugby game, pretty much by the end.
Yeah, the other boys were getting pretty frustrated. It was tough to score against us for the most part of that game. I think Beggy probably found it pretty easy driving to the bucket.
He finds his way through, Beggy.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, we had the clamps on and did a pretty good job defensively. It's hard to imagine what the Koalas would do without Beggy now. I mean, he's only been there for 2 games, but he's sort of is the fabric of the team already. I don't know if they lean on him, a bit more in the future games, but I don't know where else they go for their points. I mean, Chem can obviously score in bunches, but
it's just I think the same thing with the gelling.
They were another team that we thought were maybe finals bound, but it's been anything but.
I mean, they had the 1 win last week.
Yeah.
And Trav said they played really well as a team.
Yep.
But I just think that gelling thing, they're just not gelling
quite
well together. So.
Do you think that's their season? They're done. I don't think they can make finals from here. Do you think?
No, definitely not.
Nah, probably not. But I mean, they'll give it a good shake up to whoever goes into the finals.
Oh, of course they're not going to back down. No one's going to back down. But
no, I think they'll be fighting tooth and nail for a couple of wins.
I don't think Trav's the kind of bloke to throw his hat in there.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's a fierce competitor, and
definitely is,
between him and Chris and Robes and Kiwi Chem, they rebounded the ball really well. On our side, I mean, it was sort of a low shooting percentage basketball. We sort of had a couple of plays in the teens, but the damage was done by Sam Nickel.
Well.
Sam Nickel had 10 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals. Good enough to get him a Player of the Week nomination, and he was just lights out on the fast break. And a really positive sign for our Reapers moving forward. I think if he can sort of give us that or even half that every week, we're doing really well.
We are doing really well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've only dropped 1 game. I still don't know how we've done it, but we're flying, mate. We're in a pretty good spot, and hopefully we can
look at it there. You talk about your defense and that. You've got every bloke in your team that's got over 2 or more rebounds. I mean, once you get in the rebound, you're going obviously giving it to the teammate, and it's quick basketball.
Rebounding wins games.
Exactly.
I mean,
movement that gets you down the court. So.
Yeah, we did board pretty well, and We had sort of 3 players above 5 rebounds for the game, and we only had five players for the game, so it was...
it's good effort.
Yeah, it was really good. Solid win. We're pretty happy with it. Move on to the next one. I think we've got the Matadors next week, so
Yeah, big game.
it's going to be a bit of a showdown. Hopefully we're able to carry it on.
Shoot.
Yeah. Hopefully we can shoot and H can't. We should actually go back to that last game.
Yep.
Leon didn't score 1 point for the game. Didn't score a point.
Yeah, well, Flanners and I tried to make it a point for him not to shoot. So, I mean, I tried to stick on him because he's, no offence, Leon, but probably the slowest on their team. So, me being the slowest on our team.
There was just one thing that I noticed in the stats, and I just couldn't believe it. I went back and I double checked. I not even a point. Crazy. Anyway.
Silly.
On you, Leon. Moving on.
I love you,
Love you, Leon. Last game of the night, we had the Ducks, the Dandy Ducks, absolutely demolishing the Harkaway Toucans, 66-42. The Tooks. A bit of a blowout win. They sort of within striking range at half time, but
Joey on transition, man, just took it on and did it up.
Yeah, sort of after half time, they really sort of steamrolled him, didn't they?
Yeah. He's quick.
Yeah. He's probably be the fittest bloke in the competition.
He'd certainly be up there, yeah.
And he
Flanners
runs.
is still the quickest, but
Yeah, definitely.
Flanners is the fastest person on the face
On
of
the
this
line,
earth.
yeah,
Okay,
he's
so
definitely.
Usain Bolt, no,
Nah.
it's Flanners. So, but yeah, I mean, Joey got out. He scored 29 points. He had a couple of
finished
free
well.
balls drop.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the highest score of the season. I don't think anyone's top 29
no, I think that is
just
yeah,
yet. Yeah, so I mean, good on him. And he's also playing the team game pretty well as well. Like he had 4 assists and,
Yeah, definitely.
and a few boards for himself as well. So
Travis Blacking though as well, 15 and 10.
Trav's defense is he's something else. Between him and Kurt, those guys can really defend the hell out of the ball and make life tough on oppositions.
Yep.
I
And
think Kurt's probably up there with the steal of the draft as well.
he'd have to be, yeah.
He's definitely he isn't the most polished player, but when he uses the ball, he uses it well. So
All the time. Yeah,
It's,
he's great on the layups.
Yeah.
He can shoot.
yeah,
Do a bit of
A
everything.
few good no look passes last night. Was it? Yeah, really nice to watch. Nice player to watch.
Tell you who was nice to watch. That was Spez. Spez had a ripper game. I think he had 19 points.
Yeah.
And it sort of looked like the Spez that we sort of know and love and expect every week.
Yep.
He he was dropping sort of 20 a game pretty consistently. He'd sort of gone missing for a few weeks, but he was back in full force last night, and he
did
looked
look
really
good.
sharp. Yeah. As well as Reece Ainsworth.
Oh mate, 4 from 4.
4 from 4, and he went 5 from 5 last week.
I don't know why he didn't shoot more.
So, well, the thing with Reece, he takes smart shots. He doesn't take a shot that he doesn't think he's going to make, and he's like I've said this already, but I think he's the league's most efficient shooter, the most reliable shooter. He just doesn't shoot enough.
Yep.
So, good on him. 14 points. Apart from that, there was no real damaging scorers, I suppose, from the Toucans. It was all sort of pretty well through those guys. Travis Blackney, Joey Nativo, Kurt Lazaro did most of the damage. Dave Morseman, very, very quiet. Very quiet. 1 point and 4 boards. It's hard to criticise him too much because, I mean, they got the blowout win, but
he just sat back and relaxed.
coasted.
Yep.
Coasted. He had a couple of very nice blocks.
But yeah.
that's what he does though. He's a general on the court, and he's just intimidating.
Yeah.
He's just so large.
He's there to
And-
patrol the paint,
yeah.
change shots,
Yeah.
and he does.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, for the most part, he probably didn't really need to do a whole lot because it was all in transition that the Ducks did their damage.
Was done, yeah.
Do you think they go on and lose a game from here, or do you think they
don't
stay
know.
undefeated for the rest of the season?
They are really good to watch. The ball movement, everything. They're just Yeah, they gel really well as a team.
Yeah.
So
I think Maddie's pretty much picked it spot on.
Yeah. So you're saying they're not going to lose another game, you reckon?
I don't reckon they will.
Or a game?
I don't reckon they will. I reckon
Yeah.
they'll go most of the way.
Yeah.
It's not all. Because finals is a different story.
Yeah, you never know. No, I think we play them in the last or second last round, so that's going to be, hopefully a good game to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the games for the evening. Horny, I was actually wondering if you can give the viewers a bit of a spiel about your business, because I mean we try and plug your business a little bit and say, look, go and see Horny for this and go and see Horny for that. But what can you actually do?
It's pretty much all factory coatings, just all floor coatings, mate. So, but yeah, obviously can do outside basketball court, stuff like that. Don't do a lot of them. I mainly do food and beverage flooring, but you know, walkways, all lines. So if you work in a factory and you need,
so your lines
painted,
marked out.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Do all that.
Yep. Okay.
I try not to work too hard, but.
So your basketball court servicing is something that you sort of do a little bit of, but not too much?
Yeah, not too much. It's just something I can do on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too many people get it done, so.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well.
No one wants to spend the moolah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well that's. I'd like to just probably finish up on a few questions for you guys as well.
Yep.
Being we've got a pretty close league. We've probably got, I reckon we've got 3 locks in the finals already. In the Ducks, the Reapers, and the Matadors. I don't think they're gonna miss out on finals from here.
So, no.
But we've got a 4th spot up for grabs. Who do you reckon gets it?
We could. Bears could. We just need to play a bit more efficiently, and especially in offense. We've lost, a couple of close games that we've could have won. So, yeah, I think definitely we can.
Yep. What about you?
Will.
Yeah. All right. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
What about you, Ian? Who do you see as being that team in the 4th spot?
Oh, it's toss up between probably the Crocs, the Bears, and my boys the Wizards.
Yeah. Okay.
We just got a steamroll.
So what about the Penguins? Do you give the Penguins a look in there, or?
I haven't really seen them play this year, to be honest.
Well, they beat us. So.
For me, it's got to be either the Crocs or the Penguins.
Okay.
The Crocs are in just fine form. They're
Yep.
looking. They're, like I said, they do it as a team.
Yep.
And that goes a long way, especially late in the season and finals. So I think maybe the Crocs get in there, or if the Penguins can hold on, they'll also probably be a chance at snagging that 4th spot.
Yep.
But there's also the Bears to consider as well, and probably a couple of other teams as well. I don't know.
Definitely a toss-up.
How many wins you got? You got two, just the 2?
wins.
Yeah.
We're 3 and
So you
3.
probably have to win your next.
Yeah, we have to probably
Your next 4,
probably birdie in.
3.
We
Yeah.
have to birdie in.
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
We were missing Stu last night too.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
a big out.
Yeah, that's a big out. He's over in Bali holidaying, living it up.
How's his life?
Yeah, it's pretty rough for some people. But, favourite player in the league and why?
Favourite player? Probably Flanners.
Yeah, had to be someone from your own team, didn't it?
Well,
Couldn't have picked it like anyone else. But
he's just a superstar.
he is. He's electric to watch.
Mate, I've seen him go flat out, and then he's got another gear as well.
Yeah.
And goes even quicker, and it's just full court. Man, you just can't beat him.
Yeah.
And if he hits you, you're gone too.
He's a little nugget, isn't he?
Oh, mate. Unbelievable.
What about you, Ian? Favourite player?
There's a lot out there. Flanners, definitely up there. Was Tristan, but old and got shit knees. So
He's broken.
he's
Tristan's broken. Yeah.
But without a doubt, have to be Timmy Fergus. Definitely my favourite player.
He's one of the league's best blokes.
And he's a little pit bull, and he just gets in there, gives his everything.
Are we talking about best blokes or?
Best player? Tim Fergus by a country mile.
Well, I
Just
mean,
let it
we landed Fergus in a trade,
Yeah.
so we're pretty happy.
Well, you
happy to
better
bring him
utilise
across.
him because
Well, he's got a broken finger at the
I was going
moment.
to
but-
say he wasn't.
Yeah,
didn't play
he's
last
busted
night,
his
did he?
finger,
Yeah.
and we're hoping he can come back in time for finals. But
he's got to stop hammering nails then, doesn't he?
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And what about who wins? Who wins the MVP?
I reckon Hayden.
Hayden Melson.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. He's put in a pretty solid season so far. So yeah, if he finishes off, yeah, it's probably a fair chance. What do you think?
Definitely. Hayden's right up there, definitely. Flanners is definitely up there as well. He's doesn't go unnoticed every week, Flanners, and
Yeah.
he's definitely the heart and soul of the Bears. And I'd say Hayden or him.
I've got to say Gregory's the heart and soul of the Bears.
He is the worst GM in the competition.
Done
Hands down, he is the worst
He
GM
hasn't done
in
a
this
lot, has he?
competition.
He's all right.
He's the worst.
He needs to bring back the slacks on the shirt.
He's the worst dressed, hands down.
That's all right.
Yeah, but he makes up for it on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, off the court, he's putting the drinks on for you guys. So he's got to be pretty popular with you guys.
I said I was outside cooling off
Bears
after the
beers.
game. That's
Bears beers.
Now that actually goes a long way to building a bit of culture. spending a bit of time with each
Absolutely.
other.
Well,
and-
you look what it done with the
team
Bears
bonding.
last year. I mean, we beat you guys in the semi. And
We're not going to talk about that.
No.
I'm going to cut this out. This part.
I hadn't played
not,
basketball in 10
not in
years
here.
and get
anything you say now is being cut out.
Is
so,
it?
so. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, Bears beers. No, just kidding. You're right. Yeah, if you need someone to put out a fire, just go see Greggy. He'll help you out. Braden knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, good. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up things for the domestic side of things and our episode this week. Guys, thank you for coming down and
Thanks for having me.
and joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Much appreciated.
It's bedtime.
It is. And on that note, thanks for joining us. See you next week.